You have a bill dealing with food additives. It's interesting right now, we're starting to have conversations in this country about hyper-processed foods. But Oklahoma, we've done things in the past, like set up agencies to keep marriage, and it failed, and agencies to stop smoking, and objectively that's failed. When you're starting to talk about addressing things that need to be addressed, like 49th in ranking of health in this country, we've been that way for so long. Senator, what are your thoughts besides the food dyes of other things you want to get into that help moms and dads in the nutrition of their children where we're just not ranked very well?
Yeah, so this bill actually was born, again, out of my experience as a mom. And so when my middle one was about 4 or 5, we had a soccer tournament. And so he played, I think, 2 or 3 games that day, had a red sports drink afterwards, and was just bouncing off the walls, which, you know, if you're that age, after running for 2.5 hours, I expected a nap. And that's not where we were. And so I've always been very attentive to what my kids are eating, what I'm putting in my body, making sure that I have good, healthy, high quality foods available for my kids. And so I had learned about the potential impacts of dyes. And so a couple of weeks later, after that first experience, we saw it happen again. And he was old enough that I was able to ask him, you know, how do you feel right now? And he said, my insides feel shaky. And so I said, you know, let's remove all the red stuff. And so much so that even at 5 and 6 years old, he was able to monitor his diet, and he would politely decline anything that was red because he didn't like how it made him feel. And so now we're seeing more conversations, especially at the national level. I think it's very important to note that red dye 3 specifically was banned from cosmetics, I think about 30 years ago. It causes cancer in the lab rats, yet we were still able to ingest it. And so it's interesting to me that topically it was not allowed, but we were able to actually put it in our bodies. And so this is just starting a conversation that, listen, our food needs to be clean. What we put in our bodies, we need to be aware of it. Is there a link to the chronic illnesses that we're seeing, you know, in our population now? And so just really starting this conversation at the state level. It's obviously going on nationwide, but I think people need to know. And so I want to do my part in cleaning up our food supply and hopefully increasing health outcomes.